Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. All right, there we go. That sounds just a little bit better. Today is Monday, May 1st, 2023. It is Minority Health Month. As we do every Monday, hold space around mental health. Usually we have Dr. Brandy with us and we banter about basketball, the weekend, and things like that. She's not with us this morning and will be back with us next week. And so one of the things that crossed my mind, we're going to talk about this morning, I'm going to go in a few minutes and say good morning to everyone. But one of the things that crossed my mind was that some people may wonder why folks like Java with Jimmy, Your Pure Spark, Dee Dee's Cry, others, Carla Montero, Celeste the Therapist, others keep constantly pushing the importance of addressing our mental health. I will also say, as I'm looking at this word minority, it's very interesting, but we're going with the flow, but words do matter. But I will say it's BIPOC, people of color, mental health month. And so it is definitely important. The folks that I named, we keep talking about this subject because it is an issue that we as people of color need to keep in the forefront, because mental health has so much to do with our overall health. It has to do with our quality of life, our everyday function, our relationships with family members, our relationships with spouses and others, our children. Mental health is part of health, and it's something that we constantly have to keep in the forefront to ensure that our quality of life is on a good path to being well. With that being said, we're going to go in this morning and see who's in the Java Cafe and say good morning to folks. Dow Drumright from Tennessee, good to see you in the room this morning, sir. Sharon Cornelius, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. Also, Mama Java, good morning to you. Seeing my mom in the room reminds me, some of you may have seen this on my Facebook page, but my mother has always been one that has adopted young people from the community. That has spilled over to myself and my sisters. And there was a young man by the name of Terrell Mosley. Great young man, hung out with my nephews, my youngest sister, Tamisha's godson. He passed away this week, and I found out the night that I was with Quincy at the award ceremony. We're going to talk about that and show some pictures as well. But I just wanted to thank all of you that have continued to pray for my nieces and nephews, my mother, my sisters. All of them knew him. I knew him as well. But they were closer to him. And I don't know the circumstances or the details, but what I am doing is asking you to keep them in prayer, just the Hills family, the Mosley family, more importantly. But it is very interesting for my family and my nephews right now. So thank you all so much for that. There was someone else that had crossed my mind, and it may come back while we're talking, but I wanted to solicit prayers for someone else this morning. But Mama Java, good to see you in the room. Miss T, good morning to you. I was looking forward this morning to Miss Teresa sent me a wonderful Celtics tumbler. And I was so looking forward to holding it and talking trash to Dr. Brandy this morning. But thank you for that so much. Nicole, good morning. Good to see you in the room. It's so interesting when I see just good morning, because usually you have a joke or something to say, but good to see you in the room this morning. Opal, how are you? Good to see you in the room this morning as well. Sharon said that she was driving, so be careful out there driving. Kelly, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. So mental health, it's BIPOC mental health month. And as I started saying a few minutes ago, why do we address this every Monday? Though we deviate a little bit and we talk about the Celtics who won. Let's just keep that out there. Dr. Brandy's not here, but we're still going to keep that in the forefront. The Celtics who won. See, here's where I get caught up in the comments. Okay, I thought that said something else. We're doing it. I know they say that you're not supposed to, jinx stuff, but let's just say that we're doing it. So proud of the Celtics. But again, talking about mental health, it is so important. As I said before, Dr. Brandy and I deviate, as I did a few minutes ago, about the Celtics and different things in Coco. But we hold this space every Monday because during the pandemic, we found out, and which we knew before the pandemic, but issues, mental health issues were exacerbated during the pandemic. People that couldn't go and see their therapists, people that were thinking about going to therapy, family therapy, even some people that have to take psychopharmacology, which basically means meds to regulate a chemical imbalance that may be due to a mental health or mental illness in the body. And so before COVID, we talked about it, but even more so in COVID. And we've had people in like Naisha D, and we've had people in like Dr. Brandy that comes in every Monday, Toy Burton that moves in the space of suicide, and others, Dr. Ronke and others from MGH that have come in and chatted with us about the importance of keeping mental health as a part of our health in the forefront. People are dealing with depression and they don't know it. People are dealing with anxiety and they don't know it. And again, we can't forget that during COVID, a lot of these things were exacerbated, put in the forefront of our lives. And if we didn't have the tools then, it's interesting. And I keep saying that we have not seen, it's starting to demonstrate itself with young people, but we have not seen the full impact of COVID on our young people. And not just our young people. I will be very transparent. During COVID, I was good. Being in this home studio, getting off of here, we were on every day, go sit at the desk and do some other work, was doing some stuff with Drive Boston. And I will be very honest with you. When I'm not on here on the show, I cannot sit in my home office for more than 25 minutes. It's 20 or half an hour on a good day. And so that is, I know that that's something that I need to address. And people are like, oh, paint it, change around, the office or whatever. That's a whole nother subject in itself. But I'll be very transparent. For a lot of us, the impact is just in some extent. I've noticed it for about 6 to 9 months, to be very honest with you. I'll be transparent. My productivity is not great. Everything is in here, and I just sometimes seriously, 25 minutes at the most. And I even sometimes before I realize it, I'm up walking out the office in the kitchen. And so the full impact of COVID has not hit everyone. And it would behoove us as parents. It would behoove us as influencers. It would behoove us as providers that when we have the opportunity to talk to someone about addressing their mental health, or if they have a mental illness, to get that addressed and to keep their mental wellness well, seize that opportunity. It is very, very important. Speaking of that, and I just spoke a few minutes ago about my sister, Misha. We just asked a few minutes ago, and she clarified the families to keep in prayer. So it's the Hills, Mosley, Gillespie, and Queen families in prayer, but definitely the Mosleys, as I believe that is his mother's. I'm not sure her last name. But Misha, it's good to see you in the room, and you make sure that you're drinking water and reach out if you need to schedule some therapy as well. There's vicarious trauma, which we found out in our last session. I forgot who it was, that talked about the fact that vicarious trauma is almost like you're there and you're dealing with it. And so for those of you that are aware what my sister's dealing with, her being a mom and comforting this other mom, my nephews and whatnot, this is a mental health issue while we're mourning. It impacts our mental health. So that's why every Monday we keep this space. That's why we talk about it. That's why we try to bring experts into the room to ensure that we get the right information. I'm not a clinician. Dr. Brandy's not a clinician, and we name that. But there are some general things that we've heard from other clinicians that they've shared here, being in workshops and whatnot, that we share with you of our own personal experience. And so I just felt it was important this morning, and it's May 1st. Happy May Day. Is it May? Do you call it May Day? I'm not sure, because May Day means something else to those that are in the military. But I just needed to feel we needed to say that, because we hold this space every Monday, and we're going to get back a little more to the clinical space. I'm going to, y'all, when Dr. Brandy was on last week, y'all know I'm waiting on Dr. Brandy to get back to me for a date so we can go sit down and figure this out. But we're going to be moving back into more of a clinical space with clinicians for Mental Health Monday. Along with that, I'll let you guys know that, and I hope to get at least one conversation this month from now until, and it's really, I was saying until the end of June, but I get a slight break in July. From now until the end of July, life is very hectic. So don't mind if I'm not as responsive, not taking on anything new, because it's good stuff, but it's just a lot. And so, and in this month, we're incorporating expanding the team and on this shoestring budget, but we're going to work it out. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that I'll be real about that impacts my mental health. Anxiety, not depression. I think I'm good with that. But anxiety around what's coming, around meeting deadlines, around missed deadlines. So Nicole is talking about productivity. Let's see what she had to say. Oh my God, I'm working on my productivity. I have issues with following through and finishing what I start. I'm learning that lists are good. Now I can make them. Now I need to stick to them. And can we talk time management? All of this has to do with mental health. If we make lists and if we practice good time management, we're more than likely to have anxiety when we miss deadlines or we're not as productive. It's definitely a work in progress, y'all. Let me see what Leslie said. Me and the kitchen was friends during COVID. My waistline. So here's another thing. I lost weight during COVID. Guess who put on about, I don't know how many pounds, but all I know is I was at 33, 34. Well, 32 to 35, 33 was cool. 32 was all right. 34, a little swag, not sag. Well, that's what I thought of. Let me be honest. A little baggy on the 34. Now, your boy's up to 36, 38. So, whew. So Leslie, I'm with you. I am with you. Nikki, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. We're going to get ready in a second. For those of you that are here, we're going to ask you, as we do every Monday, and let me tell you again the purpose behind this. Me asking every Monday for you all to drop one word in the comments around your mental health. It actually, for a few seconds, you sit back and you do a self-care check-in, whether you know it or not. How am I doing? And you put your word up. That's a mental health check-in. Just that little bit there. So let's go. What is your mental health word for the day? Put it in there. You can talk about it today. You can talk about in the moment. You can talk about in the last week. Let's drop those one words in the comments for mental health. And while you guys are doing that, I'll get ready to share some events that are coming up as well. Pastor Marion is saying, when I learned when to say no. I'm getting there. I still struggle with what does the other side of no feel like, looks like, what is the impact on the other side of no, to whom or what I'm saying it to. And so I'm getting there. And I notice that I need to have an even balance with it, because when I'm stressed or got a whole bunch of stuff going on, oh, the no is easy. Phone cut off. And so, and I'll be honest with you, I spent part of this weekend around trying to set myself up for the week. A lot of people, when there was a meme about this, that instead of working hard during the week and trying to rest on the weekend, it said something about spend your weekend making the week balanced, and you won't have to look so forward to the weekend. You do that all the time. And so I spent this weekend a little bit trying to set up stuff for this week. And that's how I know from now through July, things are very, very interesting. All right. So put your Shamika, how are you? And what are you doing on May 20th? Can you hold that date, please? Shamika doesn't know that inadvertently she's our sort of lead when it comes to food and stuff with events. And so, Shamika, good to see you in the room. I'll send you an email. And there'll be a lot of volunteers. This is going to be like a 200 person event. So Shamika, I'll reach out to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. All right, folks, let's get those one words in the comments. I just noticed you said righteous. Can you give some context to that in the comments? Shamika said her word for the day is, I like that, righteous. Teresa said that she is on autopilot. I almost said something. Just watch one of your propellers while you're on autopilot. That's an insider with her and I. Charlotte, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Charlotte, I know you got to jump in and out. What's your mental health word for this morning? Pastor Marion said rested. I'm a little bit envious, but I'm glad you got rest. I'm figuring that out as well. Invest in your bedding. Invest in pillows. Invest in pillow. What do you call it? Pillow top. Little. I can't remember what I call it. But after doing that investment, make sure you don't fall asleep on the couch every night. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about anybody. Nikki said that her word is a little frustrated or frustrated. Leslie said optimistic. Ma said here, definitely understand. Y'all mother's board. Y'all know what y'all do. Check in on Mama Java, and also and check in on Aunt Connie as well. She reached out to me. She's dealing with the health issue, and at any point, if she wants to, she can share it. I won't go into details here. But again, this is another reason why we hold space for mental health, because life's issues have an impact on us. So again, as I'm mentioning, for folks to, keep folks in prayer, and folks are dealing with things, there's a mental health tone there. Charlotte said flat out. Hopefully that's not just depleted or whatever. We send strength and energy your way, Sister Charlotte. Leslie said optimistic. I believe what I said before. Ma said a lot on her mind. Absolutely. And so, Ma, write things down, or gold. You got to park right a couple of doors down. Go take a walk in the park at your leisure and how in pace you want to, and just, or write, Ma. Journaling is a big help to mental health and getting stuff out. Ma said she has a lot on her mind. One of the things that I started doing is journaling. And Nikki talks about frustration. Let's mend those or merge those. Have I here of late, I'll say years, wrote statuses, typed out tweets. I even at one point did a video to get it off my chest by any means necessary. Ma said she got a lot on her mind. Nikki said she's frustrated. Holding that stuff in does not help. It impacts your body. Chemicals like cortisone and stuff are raised. And guess where those chemicals go if you're not hydrating and excreting them out through, urinating. I was going to say pee, because that's what I tell people in trauma spaces. Y'all need to drink because of toxins in the body and y'all need to pee. I just keep it real like that. And so when we keep a lot of stuff on our mind, that can happen. So think about journaling, going for a walk, the impact of that, because you got the stuff that's on your mind, but you notice a color of a house, you notice a certain dandelion that's half dead, but the other side is still yellow while the other gray is going. You notice a garden in the community around the corner here. You notice that there are certain smells by certain places in the community because of the flowers that are growing there. You realize that there are some pretty nice homes in your area. So walking, journaling, and for those that are of faith, praying. But when you pray, you move your feet and get some of that. You get it out in prayer, but think about journaling, Ma, Nikki, and others. All right. Walk by the water is definitely a big thing. For me, Miami, I'm telling you, it ain't no boo. What's the food? But it's the water, the temperature of the water, the sun, the late nights when you step out the hotel at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, open the doors, and that just warm water, bay, ocean influence breeze. All right, now I'm messing with my mental health because I still haven't planned a trip. And I'll be honest, I'm struggling a little bit because I'm struggling with giving what's his name? DeSantos, my income. I'm not going. I'm just trying to get the cheapest way there. So, and spend the least money. But that's my self-care. And it's a little bit expensive. And I'll be honest, I figured out as a business, as a content creator, when there's a little extra, we try to create content around self-care and food. I'm messing. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap up. I have to share rather some announcements with you guys as well. Let me just check a couple of the comments. Charlotte said, took hubby for a couples massage this weekend for his birthday. Happy birthday, brother Mike. Please tell him and Charlotte, speed up in the after watch and go and show him we said happy birthday to brother Michael James, a good brother, an encouraging brother. Always in the background, and whenever I see him, hey man, keep doing what you're doing. So happy birthday to him. Teresa said, Teresa, I'm not messing with you. Leslie said, change your focus onto the positive things. And that is real. And for some of us, it is easier than it is for some others. And I had a friend some years ago that was unemployed, and they was just in the sunken place and just woe is me. And it did get to a point where I said, listen, this is a mindset. Do your best to shift your mindset. It's not easy for folks that have 80% negative and they can only ID 20%, but try to get them, as Leslie said, we're trying to get them to raise it to 30 and to 50 and then 70%. And it doesn't negate the reality of life. But as Coach Meg said back in January, that idea of integration, sort of it is what it is. That's why some of our elders and seniors don't stress as much, because through life, they've accepted the fact. And it's not a defeatist attitude, and it's not just accepting to a point to where you don't still address things. You just accept the fact that this is the way that it is, and you decide to move accordingly. It's no longer as much of a shock when it is what it is reveals itself. Finances, racism, broken relationships. Integration means I accept what it is, but the other side of accept is you don't allow it to further defeat you. It's a reality. So then you adjust in how you respond. It is what it is. You think about it for a minute. You might get a little frustrated, as Nikki said, but you're not as, the only word I can think of, it doesn't hit you as hard. If there's 1 or 2 incidents and they've repeated themselves, It is what it is. You adjust, move accordingly in love, sometimes tough love, and sometimes from a distance, as we often say. All right. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk around it is what it is and integration. All right. Nikki said definitely the beach helps. Absolute. Nikki, you just got back not too long ago. No shade. Leslie said she's going swimming. Nicole said I have a 6-year-old daughter that has meltdowns, and sometimes it brings on my anxiety to the point where I go in the bathroom and cry. Me being transparent, Nicole, as you always are, and thank you for sharing that as well. And it our younger 6-year-old, to some extent, but how you kind of work with her. And let me say, dealing with young people in the mental health space today is very, very different. We've shared on with Dee Dee's Crying the platform and our sister Crystal. I said sister. Well, she is our sister, Crystal McClure. We've talked about young people are being trained now to speak their mind, to tell you how they're feeling, to tell you that they don't like the way that you talk to them, to tell you that you didn't treat them the way they feel that they should be treated, and the way that you talk to them made them feel bad. Now, in the long run, does it raise adults that have emotional intelligence and they know how to communicate? As we said a few minutes ago, they're not keeping stuff in. Yes. But some of the parents weren't prepared for this new age share how you really feel. And so I just wanted to name that. One, Nicole, to maybe make you smile a little bit. But two, for parents, it's very interesting now because we didn't share how we felt. Not with our parents. We didn't journal. Or we went in the bathroom, Nicole, but we didn't cry. Well, I cried maybe a couple of times, but there was some cussing. I don't know if I ever, and Ma, I love you. I don't know if I ever, how Eddie Murphy and others talked about that their parents would do stuff and I wish they was dead. And I don't think I ever did that. But oh my goodness, the cussing and stuff I used to do. Hi, Ma. Good to see you in the room this morning. Charlotte is also saying, winding down a walking challenge at GLT. Uncle Thaddeus will be our guest speaker on a Zoom call tonight. Walking challenge was definitely beneficial. Dope, Sister Charlotte. And thank you for all that you do at GLT around health. It would be awesome that if I'm going to get in trouble. How much more of an impact would it have in community if every religious, Christian, Muslim, synagogue, I was going to say non-believing, and that made me think about what just left here this weekend with Satan Con. All right, see, this is how I wind up when I'm by myself going for 45 minutes. How awesome would it be that every entity that gathered people had a health ministry or component? Do you know the impact that would have on public health? That in every entity there was a health group, and they made sure that their membership and their constituents and network focused on health. How much more better would we be as a society if every entity did that? I covered myself. I said every entity. I didn't say what I was getting ready to say. I'll probably get in trouble a little bit. Teresa, we need to practice seeing the good in everything, no matter the situation. And it is, and it goes to that sort of asset-based, deficit-based. And that's something that I'm big on. I had a production meeting with the team the other day, and hopefully I'll be sharing a date and a location for a new venture very soon. But we were in a production meeting, and part of what we were talking about was the divide in Boston. And I said, let's frame it differently. Let's talk about how we come together, how people are coming together. And it's bigger than the divide. And we have more commonality than we do divides. And so even in that, I'm with you, Sister Leslie, and also Pastor Marion around seeing the good and positive. Leslie said there will always be troubles. We made it through worse situations. We made it through COVID. And I think that people forget. Sorry, y'all, head's itching. I think that people forget on many levels. One, that we survived a world pandemic, once in a lifetime, we pray in Jesus' name. But I think we also forget in our relationships. I think we also forget that, well, not forget, but by my observation, let me not make it a judgment statement. I know for me, COVID made me do a lot of self-examination. It helped me correct some of the error of my ways. And for those that also had that same experience, if anything beneficial or good came along or as a byproduct of COVID, change. And I feel my shoulder going up a little bit. So I don't know what that means for somebody. But if we went through this thing and didn't come out a changed people, back to mental health, putting it as a forefront, doing some self-examination, making self-care a priority, learning to say no more, to take care of ourselves. You only got one life to live, as the old soap opera used to say. Take it one day at a time so you don't have to go to General Hospital, sitting out here wondering what's going on as the world turns. Shoot. Sitting up here, you got more hope for Ryan than Ryan has for themselves. Only a few people know what I'm talking about, and I did there. All right, folks, we're getting ready to wrap up. I want to share some dates with you guys in the next few moments, and we'll go and review the last bit of comments from there. So please keep in mind that we still have a wonderful segment. I need to share an update with you all about that, so I'm going to do that in a couple of seconds. But please keep in mind that as tomorrow is the first Tuesday in the month, we, through our partnership with the Massachusetts General Hospital Office of Equity and Community Health, we are having a discussion at you guys' request on palliative care and senior health. Palliative care is not senior health, but they are closely related. And so join us for a discussion where we'll talk about both senior and palliative care. We'll answer questions like, what's the difference between the two? And when does someone go into palliative care? We will also discuss senior health care and issues that typically come up with seniors. I also wanted to keep in mind, or ask you guys to keep in mind, and this is kind of a very special announcement. We're just revealing the flyer here. We haven't posted it. I'm just making sure because I sent it to a couple of people to spell check for me. So let me double check. I just got the last one in saying it looks good, but I'm going to need 8 pairs of glasses to read your healthy job, etc. Under the low, someone because you gave me idea. There's another. All right. So we would like to let you know that this year we are dedicating, and I named it before when Dr. Betancourt was on, or did I name it, or was it in the Zoom? Well, if I didn't, you all are finding out now. Those of you who are familiar with Dr. Betancourt, he was the senior vice president at Massachusetts General Hospital and was the shepherd that got the support through for your healthy Java. So please look, pay attention to this next slide. On Saturday, May 20th, 2023, at the Thelma Burns Building, 575 Warren Street, we've been sharing the save the date, but we also want to let you know that this is the official flyer. We want to thank our lead sponsor, Jensen, which is a division of Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson is sponsoring our health fair, y'all. That's major. Happy to be in partnership with them. We're going to have a panel. They're working to get one of the panelists to talk with us about the importance of Black and brown folks participating in healthcare trials. We talked about that during COVID. Remember Irvine Goldstein, God rest her wonderful soul, was an advocate for Black and brown people to take or participate in clinical trials. And we'll get more into that in the panel. But there will be gift cards, raffles and prizes, DJs, refreshments, and giveaways. And I know some of y'all may spell giveaways without the space, but you can do it either way, just as some of the edits I got. So please keep this in mind. Registration will be dropping There will be refreshments and food provided, and we're going to have the panel. There's going to be a DJ and giveaways, and I'm not talking like light little giveaways. There's going to be some giveaways, some nice giveaways. So when the flyer drops, please share it with the community. We don't have a lot of health fairs anymore. And so we want to make sure that we keep that tradition going at least once a year. And we are honoring this wonderful man, Dr. Joseph R. Betancourt, who was the senior vice president at Massachusetts General Hospital when we started this partnership. And he has been a supporter. He's a friend, a mentor. And so I am honored to share with you that we are dedicating the health fair to his name and his work. And so keep that in mind. And don't forget, on June 21st, we will be back on Boston's waterfront for Java with Jimmy on the waterfront. And it's going to be a cookout, family fun day. More details. I actually have a call today or tomorrow. So as soon as I get the release to let y'all know where, I will let you know where. All right. That's it for me this morning. Thank you all for tuning in. Just going to wrap up the last bit of comments, and we will be on our way. Teresa said, I don't remember what I mentioned. I had to say, I don't mind you telling me you're feeling. Oh, talking about the young people. I had to say, I don't mind you telling me you're feeling, but please remember who's the adult here and what my name is. That cleared everything up. Teresa, I almost said, bruh. I put up a post the other day. See, here I go, getting in trouble another 3 minutes. I wish I would call my mother bruh. Each his own. What works for you, works for you. If you like it, I love it. But my experience has taught me as a youth worker and being on this earth for 51 years, that line of being cool and being comfortable and having that type of relationship with your children, by one word, their understanding of it, and you putting them putting you on their level of bruh. First of all, well, nope, not going there. Here we go. Sister Charlotte said there are health ministries at other churches. Not many are as active. Absolutely. And I was purposely not saying churches, so I didn't get in trouble. Pastor Marion said we're way too busy complaining. Bald and beautiful. Going through this now with my father-in-law. Absolutely. So, Charlotte, please tune in tomorrow. Ma said, don't you dare. Teresa said, if they ever called me, bro, you better be prepared to come get them, Jimmy. I told Teresa on Facebook, I said, Angel, somebody will be calling me, but we need to drop the kids off for a couple of days because Teresa's about to kill them. All right, folks, thank you all for tuning in this morning. We appreciate you. And as you all do, about 9:35, 9:40, y'all be out. And the numbers just said, so we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. With our wonderful Dr. Karine Davila, who's going to come with us and talk about senior health care and palliative care. All right. Don't forget, save the date for the health fair for May 20th, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 9